Happy Sunday, everybody. I hope you've had a fabulous weekend filled with all things wonderful. I don't know whether you're aware, but it is World Menopause Day today. And I just thought I'd drop in and share my thoughts and views on the subject, really. It's something that I talk about on a daily basis within both my role as a fitness coach, but also as my role as a nutritional and health coach on the My Time for Change program. And if you'd had asked me 10 years ago what I thought of menopause or perimenopause, to be very honest with you, the word perimenopause probably wasn't in my vocabulary. It's not a word that I was familiar with, and I think it's a word that's kind of become more known. And if you'd have asked me what my views were on, what my thoughts were on the menopause, I would have said that it was hot flushes, intermittent periods, your period stopping, not being able to reproduce anymore. And to be honest, that was the sum total of my knowledge. That's what I actually thought the menopause was. No real big deal. You get a bit hot and sweaty. However, if you'd have asked me then 7 years ago, when I noticed changes in my own physical self, in terms of just being a bit thick around the midsection, just not being able to, my workouts weren't becoming as affected. I seemed to be working out hard, but actually physically, I was kind of becoming thicker in areas that didn't seem or feel right for the effort I was putting in. So it was 7 years ago that I started to look at how hormonal health affects our physical self, not really, even at that stage, paying much attention to what happens to our emotional and mental selves. So 7 years ago is when I started doing my own research into the way that food can help so much hormonally when it comes to affecting shape. And then all of a sudden, I found myself being aware, really, that I was changing emotionally and mentally, and there were things that were going on in my world and my life that actually it was a change. And I know that sounds really silly, and I know that maybe I'm teaching lots of people to suck eggs, but I think that the perimenopause and the menopause is not something that's freely talked about still. I think we're hugely under-resourced, and there's just a lack of care and knowledge and expertise around an area that can affect so many women. Now, it doesn't have to be all miserable and doom and gloom, but it can be an awful time. You can feel really alone. And the symptoms of the perimenopause and the menopause, there are more than 36 of them. And you may get some of them, you may get all of them, you may get none of them, and they have varying degrees of severity on a spectrum, as does everything. But it's definitely more than hot flushes and your period stopping, for sure. So the perimenopause is the time where we may be experiencing all these menopausal symptoms. And yes, it can be hot flushes, but it can be low mood, it can be headaches, it can be dizziness, it can be migraines, it can be anxiety, it can be depression, it can be just an inability to cope, forgetfulness, brain fog, itchy skin, tingling skin. The list is endless, really. And it's that perimenopausal stage that we can experience and go through for a good 10 years. It can start naturally anytime from 35. And if we have been forced into early menopause or perimenopause by operations or medications or illness, then obviously it can happen earlier. And so the perimenopause can actually last 10 years. And who wants it to be an awful time? Not me, for sure. And then the menopause actually is when we have come out the other side, and actually once you've had no period for a full year, then you are classed as menopausal and in your menopausal years. It's never quite as simple as that. There's supposed to be a magic number of 52 in the UK, but I'm sure you know, and I certainly know many people that are still having periods way beyond 52, and certainly menopausal and perimenopausal symptoms way beyond 52. So I think it can be a really scary time if you're not armed with information, and if you're going through it alone and you don't have people around you to support you and to help you. And it can be dismissed. The symptoms can be masked. They don't happen every day. They don't happen all day. They can sometimes happen every hour. But there are times when, and I'm walking the walk at the moment, there are times when things just seem too much, and emotionally I'm up and down, and then it feels like, well, what was the problem? Because within the next hour everything's absolutely fine. So it is about managing mood. It is about an understanding. It is about being in tune with your body. It is about knowing that whatever you're going through, the chances are you are not on your own. And then to have the knowledge to understand what can help and what can hinder, and the foods that we eat, how we eat, when we eat, the way that we move, some lifestyle tweaks can have a huge positive impact on how we manage and navigate our way through those perimenopausal years, so that we can feel that we can cope, so that we can feel that we're not experiencing those mood swings. Relationships suffer, marriages, friendships, jobs, all of those things. You find that women going through the perimenopause or menopause are suddenly have an inability to cope with perhaps a job that they've done for years and years and years, and yet actually all of a sudden they're really struggling with it, and so they resign and are full of then self-doubt and lack of confidence. And libido changes, the way that we look, our skin, our hair, collagen, elastin, is all affected, and so that affects what you think of yourself, what you look in the mirror and say to yourself. All the things that you found easy maybe pre-35 are suddenly an uphill battle, and through no fault of your own. But actually, there doesn't have to be a badge that you wear. You don't have to be a victim. But My Time for Change, when I created it 3 years ago, I'd been following it for a good 2 or 3 years before that, and it is so much more than food and fitness. Obviously it's food and fitness, but it really is health and well-being, and as part of that health and well-being, it is focused at women over 35. Between 35 and 55, so much is happening, and the perimenopause and the menopause are a big part of that, in terms of how we look, how we feel, and how we manage our day-to-day lives. So on World Menopause Day, I just wanted to share my own thoughts to let you know that that you are not alone, that things can be helped, that you can, whatever it is that you're feeling is part of potentially hormonal havoc. The lowering levels of estrogen, they ebb and flow all day, they're up and down, and so those hormonal shifts have a big impact on the things that we want to say, the things that we want to do, the way that we feel, the way that we react. Sometimes we can be sensitive to stuff, sometimes we can be angry, we can be teary, we can be upset. It's a feeling of just feeling out of sorts, and you can't always put your finger on it, and it's not every day. It's part of a day, but for some people it can be debilitating and it can last. And it's important that you don't get fobbed off with just antidepressants, or you do know that there is help with hormonal replacement therapy, and one size doesn't fit all, and there are other things that you can be aware of. But being in tune with your body from a health point of view does actually stand you in great stead. So that's it for me for today. Just a little bit about World Menopause Day, a little bit about my thoughts on the perimenopause and menopause. I am absolutely going through it myself, but I feel lucky that I found 7 years ago knowledge and knowledge to help me, and then I formulated My Time for Change to share and help other women, so that you can still be the very best version of yourself and still feel the way that you deserve to feel. So My Time for Change, the next program does start on the 2nd of November. Sign up is by next Friday the 23rd. We're a 6-week special into till the 11th of December. If you want help to feel fabulous as we reach 2020 finale, then just get in touch. But if actually you just want to get in touch about anything to do with health and fitness, then I'm here to help you. So have a wonderful Sunday, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for listening. Bye.